welcome to the Varsity Xtra 3A, 2A, and 1A football preview show. My name is Bob Romanek. With me is Kyle Odegaard and Mark Heller. We're going to talk a little small school football. Guys, give me the best storylines going on in the small schools.
Well, in the 2A, it's going to be, I think, very much the powerhouses have sort of separated themselves a little bit from the cream of the crop. A lot of the Christian schools, Northwest Christian, Phoenix Christian, Valley Christian, Scottsdale Christian, have emerged as favorites and almost perennially favorites out of there. And the other big storyline, at least in the 2A Central, being Tempe Prep moving up from 1A to now becoming a 2A school, and they really do believe like they can make the playoffs in the 2A, and it's going to be interesting to watch that transition from being an eight-man team to being an 11-man team on each side of the ball.
Kyle?
In 3A, Payson and Blue Ridge are still kind of a cut above. Fountain Hills is trying to get in that mix. They had a really good season last year. They have their quarterback and running back coming back, so there's a team that kind of wants to join that elite group and see if they can. 1A, Mogollon, defending champ, and they're, from all accounts, it looks like they're going to try to repeat and have a good chance at it. They could see some competition, but right now they're looking like the favorites.
Okay. Let's talk about the 2A Central a little bit. That's loaded with teams from the East Valley. Mark, what do you expect there?
I think it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think it's ultimately going to come down to the Valley Christian, Scottsdale Christian, Northwest Christian, basically all the big-time rivals. And they all are big-time rivals with one another. I think those 3-4 schools have separated themselves, at least within the Central, from the crowd. And I think ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. Valley Christian, pretty motivated. They made the state semifinals the last couple of years after winning a state title about 3 years ago. And I think they feel like this is the year they can put it together. And Scottsdale Christian feels exactly the same way. This is the year they think they can put it together. Which one does will remain to be seen, but I think it's going to ultimately come down to those 3-4 Christian-based schools, and somewhere in there Tempe Prep is going to fit in. We're not sure where, but somewhere they're going to carve a little niche for themselves.
And as our state champion, are the favorites coming out of that region?
Yeah, I think two to three of them. I think St. John's the two-time defending champion, I should say. They've won about 25 straight games. They lost Shad Bride, who somehow scored about 42 touchdowns last season by himself. It's borderline illegal, but he did it, and he's gone. They have a couple other injuries, a couple other kids transferred out. They're not quite as strong as they used to be. I think that helps open the door for somebody from the 2A Central to ultimately make it up to the Sky Dome in Northern Arizona.
And any other dark horses in 2A we should be keeping an eye on?
Northwest Christian, which a 2A school that actually, for the large in part, runs a spread offense, which is very unusual. All their skill position players are back. They reached the quarterfinals last year. The same offense returns. They were knocked out by Valley Christian in the state quarters, and I know that's a big deal to them, and it's pretty difficult for a lot of 2A schools to match up with a team that runs a spread offense just because of the numbers. And they've run it pretty darn well, and I think that's going to be one team that's going to surprise. That's going to emerge out of this cloud of dust.
Okay. In 3A, who are the favorites and who are the dark horses, Kyle?
Payson is probably the favorite, and Blue Ridge is up there. I think Fountain Hills, that's kind of the question, if they can give those guys a run. And Payson beat them 26-0 in the season opener last year, and then Fountain Hills, I don't think, lost again until the semifinals. So they improved, and then they got shut out in the semis by Blue Ridge. So it's kind of those two teams, and then the rest for now.
Okay. And 1A?
Valley Union is a team. Mogollon's a favorite, but Valley Union is bringing back, I believe, 10 guys, and that's one team that can probably give them a run. That's the main challenger right now.
Okay. Players, who should we be watching for from the small schools this year? Kyle, you got a couple names for us?
Yeah, from Fountain Hills, Connor Britton is their quarterback who can pass the ball, he can run the ball, and he plays defense. I think he was their fourth leading tackler last year. So he's a guy that kind of does everything for him. He'll be a senior this year, so he can just kind of take what he did last year and run with that and probably up his numbers. And then their running back, Bo Hegelman, is back. He had around 800 yards, and him and Britton are kind of a 1-2 punch on the ground, and they give them some different looks offensively.
Okay. Mark, you have a couple guys we should be watching for?
Yeah, from Valley Christian, Jordan Morgan. He's actually only a junior this year. Played at a bunch of all-star games and showcases in Texas over the summer. Pretty much spent 2/3 of his summer in Texas doing that. Lefty quarterback, he can throw. They're going to try to implement a little more passing game because of his abilities. They've been very run heavy, and they will be, but they're going to throw a little bit more. He can run. He's their leader on defense in the secondary. He pretty much does it all. He's an excellent kicker too. You name it, he does it, and he's going to very much be the catalyst for Valley Christian. For Scottsdale Christian, they've got their wingback, Brett Miller. Averaged about 11 yards per carry last year, and he only rushed for about 250 yards. But they lost their quarterback in Jacob Storer, who was a big-time threat on the ground, and Brett Miller's going to sort of have to come in and fill that role. And 6 foot, 175, so pretty decent size. And I think the way that Scottsdale Christian likes to run their scheme with Jeff Fox, that Brett Miller is the next guy you can pretty much plug in and give him the ball and let him run.
Okay. And your pick to win it all in 2A?
I'm going to go with Valley Christian. I think they're balanced. Let's try this again. The Jim Rome effect. I like Valley Christian. I think they're balanced. I think they're going to be better defensively. Remember, this is the second year under Ernie Savalas, the defensive coordinator. He brought in a pretty complex scheme. Took them 5, 6, 7 games to sort of figure it out last year. Their defensive line is very big. I think they average about 240 pounds up front this year. And I think defensively they're going to be better, and I think that's going to – and Jordan Morgan's going to be a little bit better passing, and I think those two combined are going to be enough to give Bill Morgan the championship and maybe knock off his brother Mike, who coaches up at St. John's.
Okay. How about in 3A, Kyle? What do you think?
I like Payson. A lot of guys coming back, and I think the other teams can give them a little bit of a run, but I like Payson this year. 1A, I think Valley Union can win. Mogion's probably the favorite early, but Valley Union has enough guys coming back to, I think, win the title.
All right. That's it for this show. Tune in every week where we will preview that week's games. I'm Bob Romanek on behalf of Mark Heller and Kyle Odegaard. Thanks for watching.